Welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, an activist, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is the executive producer for the Adam vs. the Man podcast with Adam Kokesh, and the CEO of Internet Warlords, the War for the Internet, as well as a former 2018 South Dakota Libertarian gubernatorial candidate, and a 2020 South Dakota delegate to the Libertarian National Convention. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a great day or don't. The choice is always yours.
Coffee. I need a little more of this I don't hate people juice real quick before we get started. Oh, man. What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth, Dakota. You know Meth, Dakota. It's the state just south of North Dakota, the state formerly known as South Dakota, until the Queen of Meth herself, Christy Noam, declared by proclamation that we're all on meth. You know what you can do with $19 million? That's a lot of meth you can buy. We forget that we wouldn't be 19 million in surplus if we didn't receive $1.25 billion in Corona aid. You know, it just really blows my mind. I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, I wish that Americans weren't as stupid as they are. I want hope. I want to know that there's better times ahead for all. You know? So I decided to go live here this morning just to shoot the shit and see who's out there today. So I didn't forget the link in the description this time, so you never know. I guess I could go ahead and share this. So normally I'm not live on a Saturday, but I just felt like coming and saying hello because we do have some Queen of Meth stuff that I want to cover. And most people, again, man, it was so disappointing. When you go down to Florida and you see like libertarians like the Minnesota Party, you know, Libertarian Party of Minnesota, and you see them. I mean, honestly, you guys, do you guys have some weird fucked up view of the world? I mean, do you not listen to the Libertarian Party of South Dakota before you talk about the Queen of Meth? Before you talk about the woman that, you know, is keeping hemp illegal because her husband can't make money until they figure out how he can make money doing that. They're going to keep it illegal. They're going to call it a drug that you snort to get high. And you hear libertarians like, oh, she's the most libertarian governor in all 50 states. And you hear this shit and you go, are you retarded? And I used that word a lot yesterday. I used it a lot. But it's true. I think we have a population filled with retards. Good morning, Mercedes. I feel this way. I believe this way. And if that word offends you, well, let's Google it real quick. So that way we can all have a scientific and understanding of what the word retard means. I know if you're sticking around like, holy shit, I'm waiting for this guy to Google retard. I promise you, it's worth it. Retard. Define.
Here's the definition of retard. Delay or hold back in terms of progress, development, or accomplishment.
There we go. So it's really important when you think of that word that you understand it has multiple meanings. Um, I was using it in the first context term. The other term is a person who's mentally disabled. And it may be true. Some people out there might be mentally disabled. But I wasn't using it as a term of abuse. I was using it as these are the people that are holding back progress. They have retarded our progress in humanity. And again, they look at a governor like Kristi Noem and they go, "Oh, she's the most libertarian governor in all 50 states. I should consider moving to South Dakota." And it just makes you really, really understand that the word retard has multiple meanings. Governor Noem's advice for states dealing with COVID-19. Quote, trust your citizens, don't lay down mandates. All right. I hate this woman with a passion. I think she's a lizard person. I don't think she's really, honestly, a genuine human being. I think she knows her position in South Dakota history. Or I think that she is two-faced is the best way I can describe her. A charmer for sure. Somebody that you can go in hating. And then you talk to her and then you realize, well, fuck, she will lie right to my face. So, why is the Queen of Meth giving people advice? Saying not to lay down mandates. The U.S. governors should put their faith in residents of their states and forego stringent coronavirus mandates. South Dakota Republican gubernatorial. Oh, I can't say it. I want you guys to remember in the way back time machine that we have, because the internet, it remembers. You guys remember when Governor Noem outlined the back to normal plan for South Dakota back there in April? So, it outlined guidances for individuals, employers, schools, healthcare providers, and local governments. She even signed an executive order. So, I find it so stupid that we go and we let her get away with this shit. And people eat it up. They eat it up. Whereas an outbreak of severe respiratory disease, she didn't even call it a virus, COVID-19, which is caused by it's transmitted in person of, I guess it is there. I guess these are these long-winded executive orders. Whereas. And so you go, okay, so she did call it a respiratory disease. I'll give you that one. But you're still a bitch. Anyways, an outbreak of severe respiratory disease, COVID-19, which is caused and is transmitted by the person-to-person spread of the novel coronavirus, started in late 2019 and has currently been detected across the world, including the United States, and blah, 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 and whereas, and therefore the Queen of Meth states that by her authority vested in the Constitution, you didn't have to crawl on the ground. I can put this thing on full screen and nobody will see you crawling on the floor. Yikes. So, here she is saying, the Queen of Meth herself, that every South Dakotan shall implement the following. Back to normal plan. Oh, man. The plan has detailed the expectations of individuals, businesses, schools, healthcare providers, and local governments to return to normal and social interactions while accounting for inherent uncertainties of this pandemic. This plan may be amended. And you all sit there and you believe. You believe. Oh. You believe this. And it makes me go, is there nobody that's out there that's smart anymore? Are you all just retarding our progress forward. It makes my brain hurt. You can literally have a governor who goes on Fox News and says, here's my advice, don't lay down mandates, but at the same time, here's my executive order. You can literally forget this? You can forget this, huh? I mean, this must be the Fox News syndrome, apparently. Oh my gosh. So, what did this executive order entail, you ask? I'm glad you asked. Because in the new executive order, which was just, when in the Wayback Machine here, the impact will change how some retail businesses are operating. Recommended that retail businesses follow Center of Disease Control guidelines of 10 people or less in an enclosed space and were physically distanced of 6 feet. It recommends private and public businesses encourage telework. Recommends guidelines more in line with 2012 may still be in effect. Noam said the stay-at-home plan for adults 65 and older is in effect. So you guys are that's what I'm saying. You're retarded. You're stopping our progress forward because you allow a somebody who is the queen of meth. Look at them eyeballs. Those are meth eyeballs. Straight up meth eyeballs. She can go live and say that don't lay down mandates, but at the same time forgetting that she signed her own executive order mandating and limiting places of businesses. And again, this is the facts of the world we live in. We live in this world where people just want to live in that bubble that today is the only day that matters, and we'll forget that she, is lying right here just in order to go on Fox News, look like a lizard person, and give everybody this lie publicly. And then I go and I see Libertarian Party of Minnesota. And I see people like in Florida that say, oh, most libertarian governor. I remembered the link today. So if you want to join the broadcast, you're more than welcome to. But it just blows my mind. Oh, look, the Libertarian Party of Michigan is live. Oh, where are you at? I know I typed Minnesota. Very weird. Apparently Minnesota isn't showing up here. Well, that's just interesting. But yeah, there is a link in the description if you want to join. More than welcome to. Use Riri and my husband hates it. Oh. Well, remember, you're not talking about a disabled person and using it as an abusive term. You're using it as somebody that slows down the progress of humanity. Multiple meanings are very important to remember. There's always dual meanings. All right, so here we go with the Libertarian Party of Minnesota. I hate seeing Joe in a mask, honestly. Honestly. Here we go. Sharing this with Ron Paul's bat that says move to South Dakota. South Dakota closed its 2020 budget year with $19 million in surplus despite challenges with COVID. We remain financially strong, but we're forgetting because we're not telling you that we had $1.25 billion given to us from the federal government, which means we would have been over $1 billion damage done from this if it wasn't for the federal government. Daddy federal government. That doesn't go to show you how unprepared our state was, and the fact that Christie's like, oh, don't lay down mandates. Well, $1.25 billion in budget, right, for coronavirus, because that's what the damage would have been, $1.06 billion in the hole if we didn't get that money. So you didn't lay down mandates, you didn't sign that executive order limiting people and businesses, saying social distancing. The businesses here aren't putting down mask mandates. Cities aren't considering this. I mean, it blows my mind that they allow this retarded conversation to continue. It's Riri. Yeah, I can see where that gets annoying. But I just want to know. I mean, I sit here and I couldn't let this pass because I see it and then it gets shared in these libertarian circles. And I keep going like, let my little South Dakota libertarian voice shine through like a bright light in the darkness. I will let this beacon of freedom keep shining. We allow this stupid to happen. We allow our public to have the memory of goldfish. I don't say I have the best memory in the world. I can't tell you what color underwear I put on after my shower this morning. But again, I gotta ask, why do we allow this retarded stuff to happen? This stuff that slows down our progress to a better future. You can't tell me that she's the most libertarian governor when I live here and I tell you I ran against her because she's not a libertarian. I lost to a not libertarian. Imagine being so libertarian that the Libertarian Party of your state elects and nominates somebody with a convicted stalking charge because your opinions and beliefs are so libertarian that it's too libertarian, and then your former chairman of your party goes and registers as a Republican and takes all his little L libertarians with him. That was this guy. Too libertarian for the Libertarian Party of South Dakota because it was controlled by Republicans. It was the bastion for people to go and be that controlled opposition. And they were doing it on purpose. They were doing it intentionally. Our former chairman went and tucked his tail and ran to the Republican Party. Fact. So they were rigging elections. They were doing some pretty shady shit, and I caught them in it. So don't tell me that the Libertarian Party thinks that Kristi Noem is the most libertarian governor in all 50 states, especially when you're too cowardice to come tell that to my face, because here's what would happen. If you're one of those people, if you're one of them libertarians that says Kristi Noem is the most libertarian governor in all 50 states, you'd click my link, you'd take up half my screen, and I'd ask you why you're retarded. Right out the gate. Why are you retarded? And therefore, your cowardice, you won't click my link, you won't defend your position. You'll just continue to go out there and say, oh, Kristi Noem's the most libertarian governor in all 50 states. Why is she allowed to give this information? Why is she allowed to speak? Well, she has a First Amendment. You don't really, but she does. Look at this. She's a lizard person, folks. Tell me these eyes are not lizard persons or on meth. Tell me that. Tell me that this is not a meth addict. Tell me. Tell me. Damn it. Anyways, I got somebody backstage. Matt, you coming on today, sir? Yeah, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Met this man of Adam versus the Man here. Matt, how are you doing today, sir?
Fantastic. How about you, CJ?
I'm really upset that people are saying this and that we need to have a Saturday conversation because I can't go about the rest of my weekend while people are out there praising this woman. I mean, praising.
Our governor, I like to refer to him as Foghorn Leghorn. He's not worried about people dying from the virus anymore.
Which governor is yours?
We got a Henry McMaster.
Which state?
South Carolina.
Okay, South Carolina governor. Gotcha. I'm on him right now.
Yeah. The way he talks, Foghorn Leghorn.
You know, let me ask you this. How do you think these lizard people get into office? Does this look like the guy that you're like, you're going to protect my rights and you're going to protect my family? Or does this look like the guy that took a lot of bribes and probably did some shady shit and now he's governor?
He got in by default because Nikki Haley left the governor's office to work for Trump.
So he was just put in there because...
Yeah, default.
Was he the former lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
Oh, this is why you got to pay attention to who people put in as their lieutenant governor candidate.
Same situation with Joe Biden and who his vice president's going to.
I mean, so South Carolina governor says virtual learning is not as good as he pushes for schools to reopen 5 days a week. So, I mean, they've turned our schools. This is another thing. They turned the schools here in South Dakota into basically prison camps for kids. Again, don't lay down mandates. Just turn our public schools into prison camps. And here, the South Carolina governor is basically pushing for them to stay open. Is he pushing for it to be masks and they have their own little plastic shields around every kid? And
his main concern taking care of the virus so we can have college football.
I can't do this anymore, Matt.
That's a quote.
I can't do this anymore. I can't. You're talking about people who are like, well, at the same time, we have this super heavy, deadly virus, but we need to open because we need to have our college football back. I mean, the Gamecocks really can't wait one season. Really?
Yeah.
Clemson can't wait one season. Really?
Oh, man, that's too much revenue.
Well, no. Daddy federal government's going to back them up. You know, I just, oh, wait, you got feedback here. My bad there, people watching. So, yeah, no, okay, so you're talking how much money does the Gamecocks and how much, okay, so I guess the question would be, how much money does South Carolina make in college football revenue?
I don't know the answer there.
$464 million in the athletic department in revenue, and then $140 million in revenue in South Carolina.
Is that just the ACC or is the SEC too?
The ACC was total of $464 million.
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
But the South Carolina's athletic department totaled more than $140 million in revenue. So, yeah, it's probably about money. I mean, can we just come out and say it at some point? Like, can we just have a wait? How do we do this again? I move to divide the. No, that's not it. Where's it at? Standing. I call for division. I want a rising vote. I want a rising vote of all governors, and who's for team herd immunity, and who's not. Because either we're gonna go down this slippery slope of, well, like for example, the governor here in South Dakota saying we have no mandates, but our kids are gonna be sent to daily prison camps and education prison camps. And then you have like your state who's like, well, let's just have football again. Like, what are you going to do when it's like, all right, like for example, you can now go to your Google on your phone. You can turn on a button that says, give me a wah, wah, if there's been a COVID outbreak that I've been through with this phone geographically. I mean, I think they should do that for like child molesters and predators. Like the closer you get, the more it goes off. So you can be like, bzzz, bzzz. But we don't have that technology, but we can go COVID tracing. Like, I mean, I can sit here and I can go, okay, let me know when I go into a COVID hot zone. Let me know when the other guy that has done that. Let me know when I've come in contact with them. It's just, at some point, we just need a president or a governor that's like, listen, either we're going to have herd immunity or we're never going to have any semblance of freedom again. There will never be football again. There will never be basketball or baseball or stadiums or concerts or any of this stuff we were used to pre-coronavirus. It's all going to be regulated and distanced and cameras and temperature checks. But, I mean, for 140 million, $500 million in revenue for a conference, I mean, again, I can't imagine that that they want to dump that number, but now you spread that out over the course of all the college football. You spread that over the course of all the NFL and every other major league, and you go, I mean, yeah. I mean, that just is what it is. I mean, we're talking, you're either for herd immunity at this point, and who dies, who dies. We thank you on this spinning ball and journey through space for your sacrifice. Your time to fight for your country is to literally fight for your own herd immunity. And those of us that make it out on the other end will enjoy football and concerts and all this, that, and the other. You'll be dead, but we, again, will memorialize you and in pregame, thank you for your coronavirus service to your country. And we'll make it peaceful for people, like we can save all this money we're dishing out and killing small businesses. We can put towards euthanasia centers, I guess. I mean, if you have it and you feel like you're going to die a horrible death, we can make you comfortable. And if you survive it, you'll get to go back to concerts and football games and pizza parties and school events. They won't even let parents in our children's school here in South Dakota. So when I read an article that says, oh, Governor Kristi Noem says that, don't lay down mandates, right? Well, I can't go and walk into my child's school to pick them up like I do when I pick them up. How's that not a mandate? How's that not driven? They literally say, well, we have to do this because the state of South Dakota said we have to in order to get our state funding. Oh, so that's a mandate from the governor and the Department of Education for the state of South Dakota, which is counter narrative to what Fox News is saying she's saying. Matt, I don't know. Like I said, it's just a whole twisted, messed up world we're living in. What are your thoughts, though? I mean, team herd immunity or keep putting on masks and doing this dance every time a governor wants to open up for football or shut down for an outbreak? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, going back to the beginning, my thoughts were kind of like, flatten the curve. No, let's jump the shark. Get it out of the way. Get back to life.
I think Adam said it yesterday on the show, just give me the coronavirus and let me survive it. And then I can show everybody, hey, I can't give it to you. I've survived it. Like, let me move on with my life. I'm actually kind of willing to do that too. I mean, like he said yesterday, in boot camp, they shoot you with needles and then give you one in the ass at the end. I'm put one of those with coronavirus and stick me with that needle. And if I die, make it comfortable for me. Don't let me spread it to anybody else. I'll quarantine myself for 2 weeks but then by the 2 weeks is over, I can go out into the world and not have to live in other people's fears and phobias. And they'll see me without a mask and go, oh, I got to stay away from him. But they don't know I'm immune to your coronavirus now. So
did you ever see the South Park mashup where they did the for COVID?
No, I haven't.
It's just like a short little clip.
South Park.
See if you can find that.
Yeah, I'm definitely
coronavirus.
South Park mashup coronavirus. Oh, South Park coronavirus on YouTube. Here we go.
Hello, boys. Find everything you need?
Yep, all set.
Okay, let's see here. Toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper. The entire town has been quarantined by the federal government. Nobody allowed in or out, which means nobody can come to our aid. It appears this town and this reporter are done for. Coming up next, choosing the right hair conditioner. What you don't know about hair care products could be costing you a bundle.
It's all right, Dad.
How's your mother?
She's hanging in there. Here, drink some beer.
It's cool on my tongue.
You're gonna be all right.
There's only a 98% chance that I will live.
No, Dad, no!
Soon there will be only 98% of us left. Spirit of middle-class white people is strong in you, Stan. Seek out the wise men in Bellow Creek. Now go. Go!
Dad!
Stanley, did you have an inward journey with the old man? Did you have a vision?
I don't know if I did or not. I saw something. Someone spoke to me and told me the middle-class white way to cure SARS. Campbell's chicken noodle soup, Dayquil, and Sprite.
Yes. Yes, of course. Quickly, Stan, we must give it to everyone.
Oh my god. Matt, this is the world we live in.
The trick, Stan. I thought we were
Yep.
That is the world we live in. I don't know. Like I said, I would much rather just go make out with a coronavirus infected person real quick, get it over with. And just, if I die, I die. You guys can put me up in memorial somewhere. I mean, remember the asshole I used to be. And then, you know, if I make it through it, well then I don't have to live in the fear of the coronaphobic anymore. I mean, I don't know, Matt. I mean,
I wish I could get some of those test strips like Adam had.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I mean, I think somebody got that for him, but you know, I go, okay, well, we've seen the false positive testing news reports, and the numbers are all inflated. So, going and getting a test in today's world is irresponsible, in my opinion. I mean, you're.
I don't want to be put on that list.
Right, exactly. And so I mean, it's basically irresponsible to go get tested. There is zero guarantee that your test is actually accurate. I mean, there is zero guarantee. I mean, I could pull up every story off of the internet about coronavirus testing and go, well, here's them admitting that all this batch is wrong. This batch was 100% everybody had it, and that's statistically impossible. And you go, well, I guess when it's all said and done, I mean, there's like for Kristi Noem, she got 1.25 billion, and I'm sure that other states it's different. But she got that money because that's how much the state had been affected at that point. There's an incentive for these governors to have more cases to get more money. There's an incentive. And in some cases, like yours in South Carolina, I mean, it sounds like they don't care how many cases they have. They just want their football back. And, I mean, there's no common sense to it. If there was common sense to it, Matt, I think that, you know, we'd be able to say, hey, you know, if I feel sick, I'll stay away from you. If you feel sick, stay away from me. If you have to absolutely travel and you feel a little ill, you know, put on a mask. I mean, let me know that you know, I should probably distance myself away from you if I don't want to get what you've got. But you don't have a right to tell me to wear this thing. I mean, we can be courteous to each other and we can say, hey man, like if you told me like, hey CJ, I'm going to come up to South Dakota. Well, let's have lunch together. Like, I'll be like, yeah, man, like no problem. But you'd be like, hey, I'm kind of immunocompromised. Would you mind if we wore masks as we get closer? I'd be like, of course, man. I don't want to kill you. But if you're like, hey, man, I'm healthy as an ox. You're healthy as an ox. What up, brother? You know, like that's the difference. The government's trying to step in the middle and say, be afraid of each other.
Well, you're cool and all, but we're still not going to share a milkshake. So,
God damn it, Matt. That was my goal. I was trying to get you up here and say that my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Oh, man.
sorry to pop that bubble.
Well, you did, man. But at the end of the day, I'll just live another dream. So, I mean, I try to imagine it and I go, okay, well, if we were to, let's say, as people come together and go, I'm not going to do it. What do you think the government's going to do in response? I mean, I kind of said it could be leading to AI facial recognition software where they're trying to partially figure out how to figure out who we are, and the installing of the digital currency through the central reserve banking system. I mean, all that aside, you kind of go, maybe it's just people with mental health disorders that are driving this in the fear and the placating to an individual susceptible population that will, I mean, again, believe that listen to your government will do you no wrong. I mean, are we living in that time where you know, the government will deal with individuals like me that are like, fuck this, I don't care to play your fuck games with your masks and whatnot, or as I call it, the giant hide and go seek game of pedophiles 2020, where people can just willy-nilly just go into buildings and not know who they are, and you don't know where anybody's going, and you can't, like, dude, they're hiding is what I think it is. I think, in my opinion, people are hiding and they're using the masks as the excuse, like they can go out in public, and I don't know, man. It's so, I don't want to sound like I should put on the tinfoil hat, but I should probably put on the tinfoil hat, man. I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I have the mental health disorder now, you know, like maybe it's me and I'm sitting here like mentally destroyed by what I've witnessed the public do to each other. And like we watched yesterday with the carts and the cart lady, the mask people in Walmart and Lowe's. Man, what would you do if you walked into a building and people are recording you and they're you know, they're trying to ostracize and criticize you for not wanting to wear a mask? I mean, would you have handled it like that guy, or would you have been like, my bad, ladies, let me help you out here?
It's tough to say, man. I don't know. I hope I never get put in that situation. So.
Yeah, me too. Do you wear a mask? I mean, do you have one? Do you wear it?
Rock Hill just recently required them in public. So, like, I keep one with me. I go to the same grocery store all the time. So, you know, I don't want to be like that dick, you know. I put it on. I get my groceries. We don't wear them at work.
You don't wear them at work, but you wear them at the grocery store. Do you think that this actually stops coronavirus?
Absolutely not.
Do you feel stupid like I do, man? I feel stupid when I wear it. I feel like, man, I know full damn well if somebody came in here walking around with their coronavirus that this isn't going to save me from it. And yet again, then it's just more excuse for the coronaphobic to put you in their social circles and say, oh, he's killing my grandma.
I tried to find a mask that said fuck the government, but the best I could find was this mask is as useless as our government.
Oh,
and I ordered it, and they sent me one that says this mask is as useless as our governor. So it still works. But, you know,
I'll allow it.
A little bit broader of a brush, but, you know, we can be more specific.
Yeah, no, I like that. You know, I saw an 85, probably in the 80s, you know, the other day at our local store here, not wearing a mask. You know, it had to be 70s, 80s, you know, white hair, you know, smaller lady, not wearing a mask in our grocery store. And I thought, Grandma don't give a fuck anymore. Grandma don't want to wear that mask, and if Grandma gets coronavirus and that's what takes her out, well, then so be it. So I gotta believe at some point the American people are gonna look at people in these mandatory masking situations and go, hey, your fear is your problem. I'm not placating to your coronaphobia anymore, which, by the way, is a very real thing, and will be in the dictionary soon enough to where we can go coronaphobia and we can bring it up on the screen. And look, they've even added new articles, 7 ways to manage your coronaphobia. This is the last one that I did with the government website, where the government is studying coronaphobia, and it explains depression, general anxiety, and I think comes off as publicly as death anxiety. You're just afraid to die. So
I'm surprised they don't have the suicide hotline linked there.
Oh, you know what? If this was like a Wikipedia page, I would totally just add it in. But they explain it all, and so you're telling me that okay, it's got a, and even South Park's number of 2% death rate is wrong. I mean, it's 2% of 2% of 2%. I mean, you have a point. What was it? 0.00000016 chance of dying if you get it. And so pretty soon 99.013 or something of us are going to be here. And that's the thing, is it's coronaphobia. And at some point we're going to have to acknowledge it. Like if you have a fear of spiders, you have arachnophobia. If you have a fear of heights, you have, what is it? I can't remember that phobia, but either way, we have a new word for it that we're going to be able to look at people that are like, put on your masks. And you can be like, hang on, hold on. Let me send you a link on 7 ways to manage your coronaphobia. Here's some signs that you might have coronaphobia, where your fears are out of proportion with the actual danger. The fear and anxiety is intense and persistent. It's hard to stop worrying about it. You avoid situations and places where you might get it. You're constantly cleaning. But here's some tips. Reassure yourself it'll get better. Change your information diet. Think logically about risk. Reduce the focus on your body. Take things slowly at your own pace. Channel your anxiety into action and get help from a professional, not Dr. Google. That's what I'm saying. At some point, we have to look at these, you better put on a mask, Matt, or you're killing my grandma, and go, coronaphobia is a real disease. And it's being studied right now. And I would suggest you go get professional help for your coronaphobia. And we need to treat people like that. And I mean, I have great friends of mine that I would put up on the screen with you here and say, you're a great person, but you got to go see a doctor, man. You've got coronaphobia. And that disease is just as deadly, if not more, than coronavirus itself, because the suicides from coronavirus in this pandemic, or plandemic, whatever you call it, is more than the deaths of coronavirus. More people have killed themselves from suicide than have died from coronavirus. And you're like, well, you want me to put on a mask that admittedly won't save me, you, or anybody else, or your grandma. And there's already government studies of coronaphobia. I mean, maybe it's time for those of us that aren't coronaphobic to say, hey, your coronaphobia is your deal, not mine. I'm not complying with your mask mandates. And if I do want to, I'll wear my own mask. And if you bitch about that one, well, then it's not about safety anymore. It's about control. So, I don't know, Matt. Like I said, I had to go at least live Saturday. I'm glad you clicked the link. Otherwise I would have just been rambling to myself here without any feedback from anybody. And so I guess, Matt, what is your thoughts? I mean, coronaphobia, do you think that we do something where we make a push to say, hey, your fear, your problem, or what do you think? What's the solution from your perspective, Matt?
I just have a hard time grasping how everybody is just, I mean, South Carolina is a state that fought hard to not have to wear helmets on motorcycles, but everybody's okay with wearing masks.
Again, I don't think it's the state. I would like to think that it's a select population that is very loud minority that is controlling the majority. I mean, South Dakota here, you don't have to wear a helmet either. But all of a sudden, our schools, you're going to see that I can't go into the school. And if I do, I'll bet you I have to wear one of these. And you know, I'll just have to comply. And that's the thing is it's either comply or we'll deal with you through force of government. And to hear any state say that, I mean, it gives those coronaphobics pretty much power to say, oh, Matt won't wear a mask when we tell him to, so we can throw him in a cage and we can up to and including extrajudiciously murder him if he doesn't put on a mask. And that's what these people are doing. I mean, and I really hate to see it in these so-called libertarian circles. You know, the pro-mask libertarians, I call them little D Democrats, man. I don't call them libertarian anymore. I'm like, no, listen, girl, you're a little D Democrat who just doesn't want to vote for the pedophile Joe Biden. If you're telling me you're a libertarian, but I gotta wear a mask or I'm killing your grandma. I mean, so we gotta take a staunch line in the sand. People like myself, you, Adam, everybody. We have to put this in the focus that it is, and it's a mental health crisis on top of a pandemic crisis. If the pandemic is even actually real at this point, the numbers are inflated, the deaths aren't verified. It's amazing how nobody dies of anything but coronavirus these days anymore. And you're like, what? Not even lightning strikes? Like, I haven't seen one death from a lightning strike this year. You know, and but if that person did get struck by lightning, they'd go to the morgue and the toe tag would say COVID-19. So, and then your family has to sue to say, like, no, we watched him get struck by lightning. And then they're like, but on the way to the hospital, his burnt, crispy body got one of your guys' COVID on it. So now Kristi Noem gets an extra $40,000 into the state coffers. Like, and that's what these coronaphobic don't understand. There's an incentive for you to be labeled COVID, even you to get tested. They get money. So now, of course, states like Florida, when I was in Orlando, on the way to go to the convention, there was, if you're going to the COVID testing center, you take a right. If you're going to the Libertarian National Convention, you take a left. And I kept thinking, like, this is the ultimate test of who is the sheep. If you're going to go right, you're going to go into this infested COVID zone to get tested where you know it's inaccurate. Or you're going to take a left and you're going to go into this Libertarian National Convention. I was like, this is very convenient that they put this right here together.
The proverbial fork in the road.
Thank you. Yes, the proverbial fork in the road. You coined it perfectly. And we actually, when we pulled in for the very first day to the Libertarian National Convention, I went down the wrong road and there was a security guard. And I was like, oh shit, we're about to go into the coronavirus testing. And he goes, are you going to get tested for coronavirus or are you going to the Libertarian National Convention? And the fact that we had been asked that says that
that's your only two options.
That's your only two options, one. But that also says that other people had made that same mistake. Like, hey, which way is the Libertarian National Convention? So, I mean, but that guy knows there was a Libertarian National Convention, but he also had to sit there and go, all right, he had to roll down the windows. He was getting breathed on by everybody. I mean, it just makes no sense anymore. I mean, but the thing is that these people that are mandatory maskers will use government to mandate, to force you. And especially, like I said, I cannot stress this enough. You can't be a libertarian and be pro mandatory masking. You can't. It is an oxymoron. You're lying to yourself to say to even if you're, especially if you're running for office. Like, I'm running for state senate, and if I look at somebody and I go, oh, you have to put on that mask because our government said so. I mean, how libertarian is that of me? It's not. But if I was like, hey man, you can go out and fish and hunt and do all these things you want to do, and if somebody tells you you got to wear a mask, you can give them the finger and keep going. That person's not going to be able to say, Matt, he won't put on a mask, so hey, Sheriff Dave, come put Matt in a cage and rough him up a little bit. That's the opposite of libertarianism. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a crazy world. Our governors. Hey, is your governor? Is there a certain when you go onto his Facebook page? Do you see like in the comments like you're the greatest governor? I love you. You're so perfect.
I don't have Facebook, so I can't tell you.
Oh, well, I see that if you go to my governor's Facebook page, and it's so sad because you just want to go like, I don't necessarily want to say hide under a rock, but it's a perfect example. Governor Kristi Noem. I mean, if you want to know how you can find the sheep of the world, I mean, it is as easy as just go read the comment section. Here's 1,000 comments. You ready for this? I'm so impressed with how you think on your own. Oh, look, American Warrior Revolution's live, Mr. Ace Baker. You ever heard of American Warrior Revolution?
Mm-mm.
I would highly recommend it. He's a great guy. I mean, again, the residents of South Dakota are fortunate to have this lady as their governor. It's just a who's who of like I said. So I guess this dipshit. Oh, we got one. Okay, hold on. I guess this batshit stupid governor is going to legalize drunk and reckless driving in South Dakota because, well, it's your God-given right to do reckless things that put thousands of lives in danger, right? Well, hey, praise the Lord for that. Oh, man. I mean, again, maybe, okay, there's one guy, he's kind of my people. Let's see here. Please act smart and require social distancing and mask at Mount Rushmore event. You are endangering lives. Okay, maybe she was getting some heat here. Yeah, you're doing an outstanding job. Okay, my people, worst governor in history. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. These 1,000 comments, but you go to any of her other pages and it's just nonstop. Like, thank you, Governor. I'm so proud to live in South Dakota. Or people, I'm moving to South Dakota because you're the most libertarian governor in all the 50 states, and you're just like, oh, God, this sucks. Matt, you got anything else before I go? It's about that hour mark here on a Saturday.
Nah, go ahead. I got to get back inside. It's hot as fuck up here.
Thanks for joining me, brother. Anytime, you're always welcome, sir. All right, Matt Baxley, everybody. Oh, just a great guy to have a conversation with. I know I did most of the talking there, Matt, but you're still a great guy, nonetheless. So I could leave it up for anybody else for an extra minute. I would motion to where's it at? Ooh, Miss Harlos's a little parliamentary chart here is the greatest little thing for rules of order here. I guess I'll just give it just a moment. There's probably somebody out there that's like, I got something to say, CJ. Let's see here. I'll check the comments here. We got Mercedes blowing up my comment threads here. Let's see here. We can go through all these Mercedes comments. All of them. What do we do? I don't even know where to start, Mercedes. We'll start with she's on drugs and is pretty, so she's looked over. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, feedback, get it. Nebraska also has some sketch numbers. Yep, but we keep believing the government, huh? Keep wearing your mask. They're telling you the truth. Camera's doing temp checks. It's not even a fucking joke. I used Mucinex, okay? And you gotta have a standing vote of citizens. Hey! That right there is a very interesting concept. I'd like to see how they do a standing vote of every citizen in every state. It's damn near impossible. But I promise you, if you did a standing vote of every citizen in this world, you would, or in this country, excuse me, you'd find that most would not condone or consent to the governor, as she's stated. I think it's just a great way to a great way to explain it to people, as I said, is that when you consent and it's not informed consent, it's basically rape.
That today, that our government has the power that it does because the people have consented to it.
There it is. Let's just back this up again.
Let us never forget that today, that our government has the power that it does because the people have consented to it.
And that is what you call uninformed consent. So, Kristi Noem would be charged with rape in every case of sexual assault allegations by saying those words. I mean, that's just a fact. So, uninformed consent. Oh, man. I don't even know where we could go into it. We could go into it fully if I wanted to. I mean, again, if I really wanted to, I could, but we'll leave it at that for today. Because at the end of the day, we're all getting raped by Governor Kristi Noem here in South Dakota, and some of you are retarded. You're slowing down our progress in humanity because you're saying these things that are absolutely not based on fact or truth or evidence or research or logic or any of those things that... I know, I'm using it as the first definition. The first definition of retard, which is to slow down the progress of... Oh, rape? No, well, I'm comparing rape to what Kristi Noem is doing through uninformed consent. Because if you're actually listening here, Kendall, there's a video here that I just played where Kristi Noem is saying that...
Let us never forget that today, that our government has the power that it does because the people have consented to it.
And that right there is why we have the problem we do. Because if you look, oh God, see, here she does this. How many people voted in South Dakota's gubernatorial election? All right, let's see here. Where did it go? So, as you can see here, Kristi Noem had 172,000 and Billy Sutton had 161,000. So it was a pretty close race. And then you go with the population of South Dakota is about 988,000 roughly, give or take, or somewhere in that 890. Oh, damn it, now I got to know the right answer here. Population of South Dakota.
In 2019, its population was 884,659.
So, and of that voting population, I would say the majority didn't consent. And again, we have this government because a very small minority of people need to be governed and dictated and mandated and told what to do because they cannot think for themselves. They don't want to have self-ownership. They don't understand the concept of self-ownership and true actual freedom. They have to be told they want to belong to a team. It's a mental health disorder known as government, and I will stand by that for the rest of my life. Now, why do I run for governor? Why do I run for office? Because, as I've already said, I'm running to abolish the state of South Dakota. I'm running to abolish the government known as South Dakota and return it back to you, the sovereign person that lives in the former state of South Dakota, and take 1 star off of this federal government flag that does not represent your freedom, does not represent your rights, and is actually a symbol of your slavery. Make no mistake about it. All right, you guys. Appreciate you coming on today, sir. I will be live again Monday morning with coffee and a conversation. Hopefully we'll have some better news. Remember, deal with the coronaphobic gently, I guess. Don't be as much of an asshole as I would be. But remember, this is going to go a long way. Your coronaphobia is your problem. not mine. Have a good day or don't. The choice is always yours.
Welcome to Coffee and the Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 2020. A father, an activist, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. Purple Heart recipient with a bachelor's in information